Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Prospects After Dark. I'm your host. I am Kyle Reese for Birds on the Black and Prospects After Dark. Hello, everybody, as you come in to Graham J over on YouTube. Hello, I am here. Sorry it takes us a while to get going. Blake Reichert says, we're back, baby. Yes, we are, Blake. We've got AAA baseball to talk about. We've got 2 Cardinal games in the bag. What a horrific jump scare. Oh, my word. That's how we roll, baby. That's how we roll. I get loud. I get excited. I'm so excited about this, you guys. With the minor league season starting, I can't tell you how excited I am. With the Cardinal season starting tomorrow, I can't tell you how excited I am. So, bring your questions. Bring your comments. Let's get Pat going. Well, we already have a couple comments on both YouTube Live and Twitter Live. I'm going to try to incorporate them as best as I can, as frequently as I can. 42 McCoy says, love you, Kyle. Love you, too. Love everybody for finding their way into Prospects After Dark here on a Wednesday night on the cusp of the Major League Baseball season starting. Again, we have 2 minor league games that I'm anxious to talk about, 2 games by Memphis. I only got to watch part of the game, this day game that Memphis had. Matthew Liberatore looked a little uneven. Nothing to be worried about just yet. Again, we're talking about the beginning of the AAA season. So let's not overreact to that. We'll talk about what we've seen. TJ Zeuch, Zeuch, Cardinals acquired last year. He was so impressive in his first start. I'm sure we'll get to all of that. Again, bring your comments, bring your thoughts, bring whatever. Before we get too far, you know what I have to do? I have to raise my first booze tonight goes to the Hicks family, to the godfather of Prospects After Dark, Jason Hicks, to the queen, Jennifer Hicks, and to Jordan, our new 5th starter, starting as an opener, working his way to be a full-time starter for the St. Louis Cardinals. To the Hicks family, we raise our glass. To the beginning of the St. Louis Cardinals 2022 season, campaign, as it were, we raise our glass. All right. Saluki Fan 2 says, yes. Hello, Victoria. How are you? 42 McCoy says, Jan, as in Jan Torres. Yeah, Jan Torres is starting the year back at Peoria. He still has something to prove there. And, there's a couple of really good outfielders ahead of him at AA. But Todd Lott comes to my mind right away. That he's going to have to work to try to surpass at this point. He's still young, a little probably about age appropriate now, maybe a little older for the Midwest League. But he's going to get there, hopefully. I would say it's a big year for him. His timing needs to get better at the plate. And once his timing gets better, I think we'll see Jan Torres finally start to get to the level he's capable of. Let's see. Yeah, Colin Dunn says, first cheers of the show to the Hicks family. Let's see. Jeff Homert says, let's fucking go. That's right, Jeff. Let's fucking go indeed. Again, to the minor league season, the start of the minor league season. AAA started yesterday on Tuesday night. We have Springfield, Palm Beach, and Peoria starting on Friday. To the start of the minor league season, we wish the kids on the farm nothing but luck, to breakouts and continued success from potential major league contributors. I'm not afraid to admit that I like Bud Light Orange. So deal with it, fam. Josh Pierce over on YouTube says, what is up? What's up, Josh Pierce? How are you? Let's see. SPI Sliders says, talk about prospect style. So I want to give a real quick shout out to the Springfield Lucky Horseshoes, the independent league team, who have now become my nemesis. It's nice to have them in here to take part in this and to get after me just a little bit. I've loved that. I just want somebody to joke around, somebody who will kind of make fun of me in a playful way, and they've risen to the occasion. I actually bought one of their T-shirts. It's an actual horseshoe, which is a big Illinois thing. It's a horseshoe, and I can't wait to wear it here on Prospects After Dark. Thanks for being here. Victoria, cheers. 42 McCoy's, cheers. 5.110 glass raise. Sorry, I'll try to get it. I'll try to get way up there, Spiders. I'll try to get way up there. Ryan Schultz says, hey, fam, what's up? Christian says, Kyle. What's up, Christian? How are you? Let's see. Josh Pierce said, what up? Shep 3 says, hate to start off negative. No, you don't. You won it. You brought it. Here you go. But what should we be worried about? Should we be worried about Liberatore? I know it was his first start. Yeah, look, the things that we have to worry about with Matthew Liberatore are, first off, velocity. I still haven't heard the velocity readings from his start. We know he's better when he's throwing his fastball with more velocity. What I saw when he was getting banged around is I saw that he was just leaving too much over the middle of the plate. His slider, when he was working his slider in high, that was good. He was using his curveball rather a little bit to lefties. I liked that. But no, look, we're not going to get super negative, super worried about Matthew Liberatore's first AAA start of the year, just like we're excited about what TJ Zoik did last night in his first AAA start of the year, but we're not going to overvalue it. Now, I do want to say one more time about Zoik. Zoik's command was good. He walked 2, but his command was good. His control was good, and his fastball sinker slider combo looked really good. Like I liked what we saw at Zoik last night. That was a really impressive performance. James Nail was saved by Alec Burleson out in the outfield. But also so was Ben Johnson a little bit, because he kind of held on a little bit too long to Junior Fernandez, who just started to tire out after he got past the 20-pitch threshold or so. Which, again, nothing's wrong with pushing Junior. Junior was in his second inning, as I ramble on and on. But Junior looked good for that first inning, came out strong in his second inning, and he just couldn't maintain it. But yeah, like the pitching so far, other than Lib today, I thought the pitching for Memphis, and again, I didn't watch the end of the game, but the pitching for Memphis has been pretty good through 2 games, if you can use 2 games as a way of evaluating how pitching has been. But the bullpen's been good. Nail was good. McAllister was a little uneven today. But yeah, and of course, Jacob Bosiokovic closed that game down yesterday, so that was really awesome stuff. Over on Twitter, Soluki's fan says, what are your thoughts on TLR's toxic front office comment? Now, I'm going to take a second to actually break that down a little bit different than what everybody says. I think sometimes we're ready to kind of jump the gun. The way that I read TLR's, by the way, it was a great comment, right? And then the frosted ass afterwards was hilarious. The way I read it is somebody told him, right, that the clubhouse was toxic. He said somebody involved with the Cardinals said the clubhouse is toxic, and his response is, if it's a toxic clubhouse, it's not because of the clubhouse, it's because of the front office. Now, that's not him saying that the clubhouse was toxic. What he's saying is he was telling that person and then conveying that message to the media and to fans that that's what he was saying. Because in his words, Mike Schilt is a special guy. He's a special guy. So there's no way I could fall on Mike Schilt. Now, you hear there's a lot of hearsay going around. Obviously we don't know enough about it. What we know is that Mr. Schilt is now a part of the Padres organization. Ali Marmol, Mr. Marmol, is a part of as a coach for the St. Louis Cardinals. And you can only move forward. But, it's hard for me to envision a situation, even for a team that just wants to be competitive, as Mr. DeWitt said on the radio today. It's hard for me to envision a scenario where the front office is creating a toxic environment when you still have guys like Arenado around, deciding to come here, wanting to come here, Goldschmidt signing extensions. I don't know. I think that sometimes we're all just kind of jumping at a reaction when we're not seeing the whole picture, if that makes sense. Jay Kaner 404 says, first time participating in Pad Live. Hello, Jay Kaner. To you, I'll raise my glass. Hold on. Pardon me. To all of the first time Pad people, all the regular Pad people, I raise my glass. Andy Heckroth says, finally able to see Pad. That drink was to you too, bud. Our good friend VHS says, so Jacob Bosiokovic is a name I missed. A lot of Ks. How's it control? So Bosiokovic, as I'm sure a lot of people have seen, has a really short arm action and a slider and a fastball that he kind of repeats his motion with. And both of them are pretty good. His velocity, mid to 96, 97. Slider with good bite, high 80s. His command is good, but remember, he's a converted position player, so he's still, and that's part of the reason why there isn't any frill to his mechanics. He comes set and he throws. He comes set, he throws. There's not a big leg kick. There's not a bunch of arm action. He just comes, sets, and throws. And because of the fact he's still a converted position player, it's taken him a little time to really get his command. But the command that we saw at the end of 2021, the command that we're seeing now is way ahead than where it was at the beginning of 2021. So for the minor league free agent, Jacob Bosiokovic, if you're looking for a guy who isn't on the 40-man, who isn't on a lot of prospect radar, we did write about him in the Dirty Flirty, the Shrine about the pitchers. We wrote about him a little bit, but yeah, he's a player who could end up making a major league debut, and that's really exciting. I'm going to stick on YouTube because I like the YouTube format. Matt Matt Wright says, so pumped for the season. Eat Arby's, go Cardinals. Me too. Yeah, even with all the question marks, some of the concerns that we all have, rightfully so, about pitching, rightfully so, about maybe the depth issues. Look, I am worried about the pitching. I love what they're going to do with Jordan Hicks. I love it. I want them to be creative. Part of the reason I was excited for Ali Marmol over Mike Schilt is I knew that there was a chance to be creative and use some of these modern techniques, and we're going to see that first and foremost with Jordan Hicks. That gets me excited. I want to see how it's employed. It's just a matter of, if it ends up working or not and how fast fans turn on him. But yeah, look, anytime at the beginning of any season, I'm excited. Even if the Cardinals were a tanking franchise, I'd be excited for the start of the season. I'd be just like the Rockies, where I'd say, there's still a chance. There's still a chance. Over on Twitter, TJ Hartline says, let's go. Let's go indeed. SPI Slider says, if you know how we can change our Periscope username while we're here, that'd be it. I don't even know how to get on Periscope. I hardly know how to get on Twitter Live or YouTube. I have to have an actual adult show me how to do it because I am a child boy. Kitchens Mitch says, cheers from Spanish Fort, Alabama. To Spanish Fort, Alabama. That's the awesome thing about Cardinal Nation because of KMOX. Cardinal Nation, I was speaking of the Springfield Lucky Horseshoes. They used to be the Springfield Cardinals. And I believe the AA affiliate of the St. Louis Cardinals before the Springfield Cardinals of Missouri, because they're in the Springfield Lucky Horseshoes are located in Illinois. They used to be the affiliate of the Cardinals. And so they, even their little world is part of Cardinal Nation in a way. Alabama, Arkansas, Tennessee, Kentucky, Iowa, Illinois, of course, Missouri, parts of Colorado too. It's all part of Cardinal Nation, dude. So, and of course, my brother in Portland, we've had a tremendous amount of outreach from all across the country for people in Pat. Victoria Dryden, our good friend Victoria, up in the Northeast, Pat, and of course our good friend Gifts, who's located in the Southwest, and Sarah Ann, and all those people, the friggin' Cards, we have a wide-reaching fan base, not just the Cardinals, but Prospects After Dark. So to all of you people that are not locally St. Louis born and raised, or that left and are still supporting the Cardinals in minor league baseball, we raise our glasses. All right, I'm going to go back over to YouTube for just a little bit. What's in the glass tonight from Shep 3? Shep 3, you know how I roll, 4 Roses bourbon. Well, actually, I'm just going to go ahead and top that off, even though I already have a half a glass. And like I said, I'm drinking a Bud Light Orange because it's the only Budweiser product I had, and it felt right to celebrate the start of the Cardinal season. Alex Kennedy over on YouTube says, pretty crazy. Lott has already jumped all the way to AA. Again, we have a guy. It's hard to look. I'm a big fan of Todd Lott. You guys know I love Todd Lott. I think he's poised for a really great season. He'll continue on with some of that power, and it sounds like he's really refined his approach, cutting down on some of those strikeouts, playing a pretty solid outfield too with a really strong arm. But keep in mind, it's still really hard to adjust to the minor league landscape following a lost 2020 COVID season and then a 2021 season where teams got really aggressive. It's awesome that Todd Lott started last year at Palm Beach. He ended last year at High A Peoria, and he's not going to get a full season of at-bats there. He's earned his way, and he's a little older, but he's earned his way to AA. He'll get some time at first with our good friend Chandler Redmond. I love the prospects at Springfield. I love them because they're kind of the under-the-radar prospects. Like we said, Todd Lott, Chandler Redmond, those guys are the guys that are really excited. Matt Koperniak, who's one of our sleeper prospects. Delvin is in his second year at Springfield. Malcolm Nunez ended the year at Springfield. But then, the catcher side, you've got Julio Rodriguez and Pedro Pajes there. The Cardinals love Aaron McKeithen. I'm a big fan of Pedro Pajes. Obviously, we know Julio Rodriguez is defensively major league ready. But, you look at it, Connor Lunn is underrated. Dalton Roach is underrated. Edgar Escobar is underrated. Corey Thompson had a great turn, little taste of spring training. So I like that Springfield team. Again, one of my favorites is Chandler Redmond. There are a few players in the organization that hit the ball as hard as Chandler does. Todd Lott is one of them. And that team, even though they might not have those big name prospects, although Malcolm Nunez is 12 or 11 on my top prospects list, they're going to be an interesting team to follow, which does nothing about the health and what happens if Griffin Roberts ever gets healthy, which is, even if he's not what we all hoped he would be, it's going to be an interesting thing to watch. Matt Wright says the Bud Light Lime Lemonade and Orange are so good. No shame. I'm with you. Josh Pierce over on YouTube says, if I can get the thing out of the way, using my last name as thumbs down, I'll say Josh. I'll try Josh. What's everybody drinking? Let us know. Josh says water. Also, I'm at work. Don't tell anyone. Good. We appreciate it if you're at work and doing Prospects After Dark. Over on Twitter, I have one question and one question only. Which car did Yepes hit today? So that was actually Lucan Baker, and he hit the ball to Mars, and it looked like it barely split a really fancy truck and another really fancy car up in the YMCA parking lot up there. That was a shot by Lucan Baker. It's going to be interesting to see how Memphis handles all of those guys, specifically like they have two first basemen in Juan Yepes and Lucan Baker. It'll be interesting to see how they get at bats. The infield situation there is really interesting. It looks like Corey Spangenberg is going to get all the at bats that he can. Brendan Donovan's going to get a lot of at bats. Nolan Gorman, I believe, I don't know this for a fact, but is still nursing a little injury, so he's going to be DHing more than anything to start. So that kind of makes a DH situation a little difficult. Hopefully Yepes gets some time out in the outfield. Nothing against DeLuzia or Turner, who I like the best of the outfield group, or other than Burleson or Capel. Other than Burleson, Yepes playing time takes precedence. It just has to. So I'm anxious to see how that all shakes out. I'm anxious to see what direction all that goes in and how the playing time is. But yeah, no, Lucan Baker smoked that ball. And, I was at work, so I check it and then get back to work and check it and get back to work. And then I check it. And Lucan Baker hit a monster home run, so we had to put it on the timeline. Spooky Cheez-Its, Christian says, how many games do you think Kiz will start this year? I'll say 100. No, I won't. I'll say 70. 70 games for Kiz. Spaghetti Jones says, what up, dog? What up, Spaghetti Jones? How you doing, bruv? Bruv. Sorry, I've been watching Moon Knight, and they say bruv. So what's up, bruv? Sorry, I've got this whole thing. Brett CO4 says, Connor Thomas's wife here. Love why. Hello. Welcome to Prospects After Dark, Brett. Again, I'm not trying to you guys know me. I don't ride the coattails. I would have loved to have seen Connor get a real chance to be the fifth starter. He's going to be in the majors eventually. He's going to take up some important innings for the St. Louis Cards, and that's exciting. We already raised our glass to the Hicks family, who we love with all our hearts. They're the patron family of Prospects After Dark. We're going to do it to them again. We're going to do it to the Carlsons, to all the other minor league families that I have contact with throughout the years, which now at this point is between a dozen and 24, I think, and to anybody else who's watching out there who I talk to on a semi-regular basis. Keep doing a great job. Keep fighting, keep working, and thank you for being here, and let's get the season started on a great note. 42 McCoy says, can you go over the managers for each team? And the answer is no. I'm not going to do that. Peoria has a completely new coaching staff. Pretty well the same thing for between AAA and AA last year. I'm just not going to do that. Ben Johnson's, I'm just not going to do it. I'm sorry. I just don't, to be honest with you, I just don't care enough. The important thing for me is Russ Steinhorn is the organization hitting coordinator. Tim Levesque is the organization pitching coordinator. Nothing against Brandon Allen, who is the hitting coach at AAA, or the pitching coach at AAA at Roscoe. But they're the important people, but also Tiger Peterson, who is the hitting coach at AA, who the players rave about and who carries quite a bit of cachet. All right, I'm going to go back over to YouTube for a minute. Graham J says, Jordan Hicks, fifth starter after 3 innings pitch, should be followed by Ryan Helsley. Look, you guys know where I stand on that. I've always wanted Ryan Helsley to get a real shot at being a starter. It doesn't look like it's ever going to happen, which, I guess is fine. What we're hoping for with Helsley is kind of the same thing, but different with Jordan Hicks. We just want them to be healthy, right? We want Helsley to be as healthy and recovered from that knee injury that he suffered. And we want him to be back to what he is when he's good, when he's healthy, because that's a dynamic arm in a bullpen. And yeah, it's a bummer that it won't happen. More than what's going to be interesting with Hicks is who comes in after Hicks. Like I mentioned on Twitter today, I would have loved to have seen that be Connor Thomas. You go from 100-mile-an-hour throwing righty with some sick movement to a lefty that throws 89 to 92, who can locate but also has serious spin on 3 pitches. That would have been really interesting. But I can't help but think, sure, we're talking about Drew Verhagen, we're talking about Jake Woodford. I hope that Andre Palante gets a chance to stretch out maybe after Jordan Hicks, but maybe too much of the same as far as heat goes there. Of course, Palante throws more of a cutter than a slider, and he also has a 2,800 RPM curveball. So, not the exact same thing. Colin Dunn over on YouTube says, listening to Patton playing MVP Baseball 05. Cheers to Mark Grizzolonic, last Cardinal to hit for the cycle. Yeah, Mark Grizzolonic's maybe one of the more underrated Cardinals of all time. To Mark Grizzolonic and to Pat and to MVP Baseball, we raise our glass. Let's see. Cardinals fan 022. By the way, not to just like blow past the coaches in the Cardinals organization. They do amazing work, and I probably should spend time. But honestly, we only have so much time. I have a bunch of open questions here on YouTube. I have a bunch of open questions here on Twitter Live, and I just want to try to get to as many of them as possible. And remember, if you're just coming into Prospects After Dark now, we answer all of the questions. You put a question up, I'm going to talk about it. As long as it's not directed towards someone else, I'm going to address it because that's just what we do here at Prospects After Dark. Is it too early? Oh, Cardinal fan 022. God, all this phlegm. I've been dealing with sinuses because of allergies. Is it too early to pull the trigger on a Prince extension? I'm all about them buying out his arbitration years. You know, I heard Frank Cusimano on the radio talking about how he wouldn't think that it'd be that much more expensive than Harrison Bader. I will remind everybody that while their numbers are similar this year, O'Neill is 1 year behind Bader, and also O'Neill is an 8th place finisher in the MVP or a top 10 finisher in the MVP. So what you're talking about is probably going to cost the Cardinals. I don't know, a total guess here. I don't know shit about money, but my guess would be you're talking about a 30% increase, maybe 25 to 40% increase over what they gave Harrison Bader to get it done. Again, I haven't worked out the math well enough, so I don't really know. But yeah, something like that would be my guess. But yeah, look, it's one thing to say an extension. I'm about buying out those arbitration years. You might as well. Like even the bad contracts that they've given to buy out the arbitration years, like they've probably still could have traded Paul DeJong, and that's not really hampering them financially. O'Neill's going to be different. That's an MVP candidate. That changes the whole dynamic. They're probably going to have to pay him and pay him seriously. But then again, he's a great guy and he might take a discount. Who really knows? I mean, I hope he gets paid. But that's going to be a really fun thing to watch, and I hope that they at least buy out and pay him properly for his arbitration years. It'd be nice for that not to go to arbitration. That's what I'm concerned about more than anything, because arbitration in the middle of the season or the beginning of the season, that's rough. The arbitration process sucks, and to have to do it at the middle of the season or beginning of the season, because I think it happens in May, is terrible. So try to settle with them, and let's avoid it. Brett Thomas says, meant to say I love Prospects After Dark. Hey, no, you're fine. We'll take love any way we can get it. Cardinals Nation all day, 42 McCoy. TJ Heartline says, as a lone fan in San Diego, and by the way, we're over on Twitter. We have multiple fans in San Diego. Spooky Cheez-Its in Atlanta says Georgia. Blake Reichert says, really excited to watch Cody Whitley this year. Yeah, Cody Whitley, dealt with a little health issues last year, wasn't as effective as we all knew he could be, as we saw in the 2019 minor league season, even during the COVID-shortened 2020 season. There's a lot of deception in that quick little slide step motion he has. And you talk about a guy who might be that closer if they have to go to Gallegos in the 7th. That might be Whitley. I think as long as he's healthy, Cody's going to be a big part of the St. Louis Cardinals bullpen. And again, I want Ryan Helsley to get some of those opportunities too once he's full health and ready to go. B. Padatti says Virginia. Yeah, see, I love this. Let's talk about where you're at from Cardinal Nation. I've gone through. We love you, Victoria. We absolutely do. Hi, Kyle. A hug. Hey, to Omar Yepes. Speaking of pad families, to Omar and Juan Yepes, the whole Yepes crew. We raise our glass. I'm going to do the Bud Light here because I'm going through booze too fast. But to the Yepes family, we raise our glass. For real, at this point, they're just as much of a part of the pad family. Not as much as the Hickses, the Hicks family. But as Carlson's, as the Yepeses, et cetera, we raise our glass. All right, so back over on YouTube. Gas House Gab says, favorite ballpark in the Cardinals minor league system. Well, I love the Peoria community. I love being down in Peoria, or up in Peoria, because I'm in St. Louis. I love being up in Peoria. I think it's an awesome town. If I were to say what my favorite stadium is, it's weird. I'm not the sentimental type, but I am sentimental towards Hammond's. That was the first of the minor league stadiums I had ever really been to, affiliated minor league stadiums. And I still love going back there. That's like baseball mecca for me, a baseball minor league mecca for me. But that's not to, obviously Roger Dean, where Palm Beach is beautiful. It's a whole facility. It's wonderful. And AutoZone Park is a great atmosphere, a great stadium. They put together a great production, and it's near a really, really awesome historic street. So you can't really beat that. But I'll say Hammond's is my favorite just because of the sentimentality that comes with it for somebody that isn't super sentimental. Doobie Doo 555 says first time pad watcher, but love the Kyle VHS at Al Corner of Cards Twitter. Hell yeah, Kyle, love what you do. So thank you, Doobie Doo 555. Welcome to Prospects After Dark. I raise my glass to you. Oh, I'm so good. Dan Goki says, Pat over on YouTube. That is correct. Josh and Jeff are having a whole conversation. I love it. Luke Rackwall says, Pat, let's go. Is Luke Ratchwall, are you Hex? Which one of you is Hex? One of you is Hex. I know that. Back over. A hug to you too, Mr. Yepes. Back over to Twitter. C. Kurtz 2721 says, Jan Torres breakout year. It could be. Look, I think that starting at Peoria gives him a chance to have a little bit of success before a potential promotion to Springfield if the opportunity presents itself. But it also gives him a chance to course correct from how he finished the season. You know, when we got through like June last year, he was doing fine. And then he hit kind of a rough patch and he can never rebound out of it. There's a timing issue in his swing that I believe he needs to work out. I believe his swing can get kind of long, but he's also not the kind of prospect you give up on because he's just too raw, too talented. We'll see where it goes, but it could just as much be the end of the Jan Torres story as it could be a breakout for him, which tells you more than anything that that's kind of the precipices of the where his career is precipice-wise. Our good friend Iowa Next says, speaking of Roberts, what is the word on him? Is he throwing? Look, I'll be honest with you. Like I've asked, I've talked, I haven't been able to get official word, and I'm not going to treat that official word like it's gospel. Honestly, like the best way to talk about Griffin Roberts now is we'll see him when we see him if we see him. That's again, nothing I've been told. That's what I'm saying. That's how I would handle it. Jay Kaner over on YouTube says, who's your favorite Cardinals prospect of all time? This is going to sound crazy. John Gall. So, I'm going to actually look up John Gall real fast because I want to make sure I got the timeline right. Oh, no, wait, hold on. John Gall, because that was a weird time. Like, he would have came into the majors in like 04, or 04, 05, 05 it was. And he was like one of the Cardinals' few prospects that could hit that wasn't like J.D. Drew at the time. I mean, J.D. Drew had already come through, you know what I mean? But like he was one of those guys, and he was older, and he was raking down at AAA, and it was like, who the hell is that? And that's about the time when I graduated high school in 04. I was down at Missouri State in 07, I guess, or 06 or 07, and like that was a time that I was really, really, really getting into prospects. I remember getting into prospects when I was in high school, started high school in 2000. But yeah, like John Gall, when you go back to it, you talk about like who my personal favorite was from like a fan's perspective. That was fun, an outfielder who could make a bunch of contact, and I don't know, like. Again, I wouldn't say he was the best or like my personal favorite. I'm not going to tell you who my personal favorite is because I don't want to sell that person out at all. But that person is still a member of the system. But like, yeah, like in like a fond retrospective kind of way, John Gall is one of the first names that comes to my mind. And then like a player that a player whose hill I was willing to die on and who my scouting report was different than from day one is Ryan Helsley. Like, and that's part of the reason why I still want him to be a starter. I watched Ryan Helsley from an early on in his career, and I thought, man, that guy's not only a starter, but he's a difference maker. And he never climbed the prospect radar until all of a sudden he was lights out at AA getting promoted to AAA. And then people are like, oh, wait, this is a top 10 prospect in the Cardinals organization. So from, just a couple different answers there that I hope satiates your appetite. Over On Twitter, Torch Illustrated says Luka Baker won. Yepes, same. Different, right? Because Baker's the better fielder. Yepes has more contact, but more raw, more in-game accessible power without compromising. I think Yepes is a better contact tool, but Baker can really hit those super moon shots. So they're the same in that they both present potential options at the major league level when the Cardinals are willing to give a right-handed prospect a real chance. Iowa X says, will Yepes get any time at third? I hope so. That's a position that he's most comfortable at. And while sometimes it can be dodgy over there, that's the position you can tell he's best at too. He'll get time in left, he'll get time at first, he'll get some time DHing. But yeah, that's something that I've wanted to see. I want to see him get as much time at third as possible. Over on YouTube, Josh says, can we just give a shout out to Cody Whitley? Yeah, Cody Whitley. To you, sir, we raise our glass. We're talking about you. We're cheersing to you a lot. Over on Twitter, TJ Hartline says, you think Delvin ever gets the consistency needed to make a push for the major leagues? I do think that there is a major league future. Let me start over. I think that there's a major league debut in Delvin's future. It would have to come in this year, right? Or the Cardinals would have to add him to the 40-man or sign him as a minor league free agent after this year for that to happen. But yeah, look, midway in February, in August of last year, he was doing really well. I argue that up until August, he was probably a top 10, top 15 prospect in the organization, maybe even top 8 or so. And then something happened and it kind of derailed his season. And it was injury health related. And he just never looked the same afterwards. So what we're going to see in 2022 as he starts the season back at AA is, and what we saw at spring training so far is we saw a strong, healthy Delvin Perez. And if he can continue that at AA, there's no reason to think that he won't be at AAA with just a little bit of continued contact success like he showed, for the first 2 months of the minor league season. Well, not necessarily the first month, but after you got past the first 3 weeks, the next 2 months of the 2021 minor league season. So I'm not ruling it out. Look, you can never have enough middle infielders. We know that for a fact because Corey Spangenberg is now back in the Cardinals, is now in the Cardinals organization. And they're scraping guys like Anderson Tejeda, who is no longer a member of the Cardinals organization, to get in. So, I still love Evan Mendoza. Obviously, Brendan Donovan is awesome. Nolan Gorman. Kramer Robertson, who has played a great role within the organization. But yeah, look, I'm not ready to count Delvin out just yet. Still staying over on Twitter, Sam Lisby says, odds the Hulk or Blade make cameos in Moonlight. I think Blade is. I really do. Since the first episode, I thought, man, it'd be really cool to see Kit Harington and Mr. Ali, who I respect too much, and also I'd butcher his first name, Mr. Ali, make a debut at the end of Moon Knight, because I got to tell you right now, if I get Oscar Isaac and Kit Harington and Mr. Ali in a room together, that's the 3 amazing actors, 3 of my favorite actors. That would be an awesome thing. So that's what I'm hoping. I don't know about Hulk. We'll see about that. My hope, man, not to get on the Marvel thing, but my hope is that somehow we end up getting, and again, I know this is crazy, but my hope is that we get Edward Norton's Hulk in Multiverse of Madness. I want to see all kinds of crazy stuff in Multiverse of Madness. So that's what I hope with that. Over on YouTube, our good friend Alex Crisafulli of Chirps fame and Birds on the Black fame, and also being awesome fame, being rad fame. Alex says, hi, Kyle. Hello, Alex. Alex, I was going to ask you, now that you're looking for a partner on Chirps, can it be me? And can we turn it into a movie podcast about Marvel movies? Staying over on YouTube, Luke Rackwall says, Twins apparently trading for Chris Paddock. Yeah, that's been in the news here for a little bit. We'll wait and see how that goes. I think it'd be hilarious if all of a sudden it was Twins are working hard to trade for Chris Paddock, and then all of a sudden, the Mariners have traded for Chris Paddock. I don't know what it looks like. I obviously haven't been on Twitter. I've been committing my entire time to you guys so far for the last 40 minutes or whatever. But yeah, good for the Twins, good for the Padres for stockpiling pitching and moving it. Staying over on YouTube, Brian Dittman said, for those of us who don't follow minor leagues as closely, can you fill us in on what came from the collective bargaining agreement for minors? Nothing. Look, very little change with the minor leagues as far as the collective bargaining agreement. The thing about the minor leagues is that they act independently of Major League Baseball, even though they're kind of controlled by Major League Baseball. The only time the collective bargaining agreement ever really affects minor leaguers is when it comes to things that the players can bargain that makes it worse for the minor leaguers usually in order to get something that they want for the major leaguers. I guess the big thing with minor leaguers is after May 1st or May 2nd or whatever it is, a player can only be optioned 5 times per season. That's big doings. And then for real, there really isn't much of a change. Some rule changes, but that was going to happen anyway. So not much in the way of change other than not necessarily for the minor leaguers, but rather for the guys on the 40-man, the guys part of the PA that might go up and down between the majors and the minors. 24 Salito says, "'Twas the night before opening day, mess. Evening, Kyle. 'Twas, Tony. 'Twas indeed." Iowanek asks, "You surprised Ralston at Peoria?" Yeah, I hate it. Now, if he's going to start, which might be the case, then sure, whatever. But look, I mentioned on Twitter that there are at least a couple Peoria arms that I definitely would have been a little bit more aggressive with. But because of older arms at AAA, like Quezada and even Dalton, who I like, Domingo Robles, Kevin Marnan, Sean Keeley, some other guys who I'm not going to call out because I like them personally. A couple of my favorite Peoria pitchers stay in Peoria, specifically Wilfredo Pereira and Jack Ralston. If it were me, both of those guys would be in AA, even with Logan Gregg. I would even consider putting Gordon Graceffo there, who's also starting at Peoria. But yeah, I was surprised, and I get it to a degree, but hopefully the Cardinals are aggressive with him because it's kind of a waste for him to be there. I got to think there's something more to it, if you know what I mean. Iowanek also asked on Twitter, "Is Bedell ready or is starting on DL?" I believe he's starting on the IL. I do not have that confirmed, but I believe that he is starting on the IL. Alex Foster says, finally, much better than Twitter Live. Yeah, it's kind of a bummer that Twitter Live took so many steps back after they cut off Periscope. It's such a bummer. Yeah, I'm going to take a quick drink. To all my pad people, look, we're about 40 minutes in. Thank you for being here. I'm having a blast. It's nice to be back to work. Again, to you, to the minor leagues. 42 McCoy on Twitter says MLB Baseball 05 is the GOAT. Yeah, I'm with you. Andy Heckroth says, "Liberatore is the best pitching prospect in the organization, but could we see Zach Thompson reach the majors, or is that for far-fetched?" Yeah, I can see a situation in which the Cardinals use 15 additional pitchers that aren't on the current 28-man roster, right? And that would be Lib, that would be Thompson. From a pure potential standpoint, Matthew Liberatore is the best starting pitcher in the organization. But starting pitching prospect in the organization. But if you're asking me who the most polished is, who's the most ready for a major league assignment, I'm going to say Connor Thomas. I mean, obviously, Andre Palante has, honestly, Andre Palante might have surpassed Liberatore in my book. Don't sleep on Gordon Graceffo either. What Gordon Graceffo, the type of attention that Gordon Graceffo has gotten. Ooh, hello there. At extended spring training, or at spring training rather, dialing it up to 100. The fourth or the fifth round pick out of Villanova. Sorry, fifth round, right? Because Zane Mills was 4, 3. Yeah. Gordon Graceffo, he's not a top prospect just yet, but he's in the conversation as one of the top 5 prospects in the organization. So not to discount Liberatore. Again, his ceiling is through the roof. He just has some things to work on, which include delivery consistency, fastball consistency, and getting in a groove, because he needs to get in a groove. And once he gets into a groove, then I think he'll be at his best. But yeah, look, don't be surprised. Major League Baseball sucks. Injuries suck. And pitchers get injured a lot. And that sucks more than anything else. I hate seeing pitchers injured. And they seem to come through your Twitter timeline daily. So hopefully the Cardinals have as healthy of a season as they can. But there's always a situation in which guys are getting hurt and guys are getting hurt and guys are getting hurt. And sure, the Cardinals are the type of team who might exhaust their 40-man options before they go to someone like Lib or Thompson or Thomas. But, I could see a situation in which all those guys make a major league debut. Ann Z says, "Hi, Kyle. Thanks again for all your work inside. Apologies if covered, but have you heard anything regarding St. Louis minor league housing situation?" So all that I've heard so far, and I've only talked to a couple people at each level, it sounds like In some situations, there's two people to a room, whether that be a bunk bed situation or something else. The impression that I get talking to guys at a couple different levels now is that they're very happy. They're excited to have it. It's not quite as high scale or as hoity-toity as maybe some of the other organizations have provided, but it's a huge relief as compared to what they've dealt with. I haven't seen pictures or video or anything like that, but let's just say that, like, as compared to what they had to deal with a year ago for the players who aren't on the 40-man, it is a huge, huge relief. Now, we'll see the practical application within the season. That's the next big thing, right? As guys start getting promoted and demoted, how that all works, the fluidity of that. But yeah, like, I haven't seen anything, but all I've heard is that guys, obviously most guys would prefer to have their own room instead of going, two per. But as compared to what they dealt with, compared to what they had to pay, they are all relieved that they have it to as compared. Over on Twitter, Coach M. Poe says, thoughts on Memphis's rotation? Look, I like it. There's a lot of upside there. There's a lot of practical application that we need to see between Lib and Oviedo and Thompson. But like, I love Thomas. What we saw at TJ Zoik the other night last night was terrific. Angel Rondon came in relief of Matthew Liberatore and looked substantially better than Lib. And then to like branch out there, I thought the bullpen so far has looked really good. Even James Nail, he got out of trouble, but he ended up looking good after getting out of a little bit of trouble. So I don't know. Like, I'm bullish on what we've seen so far, even though Lib struggled today, out of what Memphis potentially has. I hope that's not too brief of a thing. Over on YouTube, our good friend Cardinal Gifts says, what can Cardinal fans expect with Hicks as a starter? A type of pitches, velocity, anything, love you. Hey, Gifts, I love you too, buddy. I hope that you're doing as good as you possibly can. You're my favorite male, not related to my family or son of a girlfriend that I have. I love you, buddy. You're the absolute best. And then it's Tom Ackerman somehow. I don't know how we got on that. But yeah, look, I love you, bud. Before we get to Hicks, to you, I'm going to cheers. So at high A, the last time Jordan Hicks was allowed to be a starter, he dabbled with a curve just a wee bit. And then, to be honest, there was a time when his changeup looked like it had the chance to be a plus pitch. We'll see if he picks it up. He's toyed with it here and there. I don't know if okay, now I see Josh Pierce is not Tommy. Josh is not home. So good. I like that. We got that. So anyways, he threw a changeup that had a chance to be a really great pitch. Hopefully, my hope is, and we'll see if Yachty likes it, if Kiz uses it, if the Cardinals want to use it. But my hope is that we finally get to see that 3-pitch pitcher that had chance to be something special out of Jordan Hicks in the starting spot, going changeup, slider, sinker, because it could be something else. What to watch for in Peoria this season? Well, first and foremost, when I think about that Peoria team, I think about Mason Wynn. Mason Wynn will start there, and I love Mason Wynn. He's the headliner of that team, not only because he's so talented, but because he's charming as shit. Full-time shortstop now. We're anxious to see what kind of steps forward he makes offensively, which are going to come. It might take him a second to get going, but he's going to come. He's going to come. He's going to get there because he's a really talented kid. The next thing that comes to my mind is the catching situation there. They've got Aaron Antonini, who started at Double-A last year, found his way back to Peoria this year, ended the year at Peoria last year, starting this year at Peoria. Carlos Soto, who was at Palm Beach, who's kind of an interesting catching prospect, all things considered. And then my favorite of the group, Zade Richardson, who I know is a super athletic kid with a super short swing, super tough kid, getting better at catching, and also a lot of power in his quick bat. Who also needs to cut down on strikeouts. Like, I want to see how they split the time between those three catchers. An ECU former teammate of Alec Burleson, Francisco Tomas. Tomas was one of the better draft pick hitters in 2021 by the Cardinals, 19th rounder, and he blew through Palm Beach and then struggled a little bit Peoria. That's where he's going to start. We love Francisco Hernandez, the middle infielder who did some good things last year. The Cardinals Osvaldo Tavalin was 10th. So the Cardinals' 11th round pick. Mac Chambers will start there. He's a super athletic shortstop, second baseman who can run like the Dickens, who is working on his hit tool. And then the non-drafted free agent Noah Mendlinger is there. And I'm anxious to see what he has. But all of that is just a delay to say that really the headliner at the pitching is the pitching side of Peoria. We're going to want to keep, and again, not to discredit what's going to happen with John Torres, because that's a big one. But, what we're going to be really focused on is we're going to be focused on the pitching when Ian Bedell gets healthy. What happens with Beller and Prater, where they're at. How fast Logan Gregg and Jack Ralston move up. Also one of my favorites, Wilfredo Pereira. What it means for those the three big draft picks out of the 2022 or 2021 draft: Austin Love, Michael McGreevy, Gordon Graceffa, who are there, and then also the guy who we haven't even touched on, Dianis Rodriguez, who is slowly moving his way up prospect rankings, and might be the breakout pitching prospect in the Cardinals organization. Go ahead and clip that one off and send that one, because that could be something that we're talking about in a year where I could say we knew he'd be the organization rising prospect. And of course, that says nothing about the veterans who are there. Like, one of my personal favorites, Nick Dragolic-Iverson, who is just a crafty but also super skilled right-hander, and Michael Yasenka. So to me, like, the thing to keep an eye out specifically with Peoria is the pitching. To you, Omar, you're the man. Hey, there he is. To Mr. Jason Hicks. Again, this will be the second time we do it, fam. But to Mr. Jason Hicks, the godfather of Prospects After Dark, we raise our glass. To Jason, to the queen, Jennifer Hicks, and to the patron prospect, the patron player of Prospects After Dark, Jordan Hicks. Again, we are celebrating tonight at the idea of a non-conventional, shading on the side of modern approach to the fifth starter spot for the St. Louis Cardinals. Here's to Jordan Hicks, to Jason, to Jennifer, to the young daughter Hicks. We raise our glass. I love that family. God, it's so good to have you guys back. I missed you more than life itself. Blah, blah, blah. Oh, glasses raised. Let's see. I'm going to get back on Twitter. I'm going to get back on YouTube a little bit. Alex Foster says, go Twins. Yeah, look, I love teams that are aggressive. I'm about it. Our good friend VHS says, have you seen some of these apartments that teams are providing their minor leaguers? Yeah, like some of the Cubs did a great job. The Twins have done a great job. I think the Rays have done a great job. I think it's pretty fantastic what some teams are doing. Love all the John Torres talk. He'll get there. Yeah, again, I'm going to look it up. I think John Torres is only 22 still. I want to say he turns 23 in June. Let's see. Pull it up. 22. Yeah, he's 20. He just turned 22 on March 29th. So, even with a little bit of struggle this year, even if he has, even repeating Peoria, he's not so far behind that he can't make up lost ground. Just turned 22. That's like, it's like Juan Yepes, right? Like, Juan Yepes didn't start hitting until he was 21, until he got bigger, until he got stronger, until he got more confident, until he could commit to one position, until he dealt with a little bit of adversity. I could very easily see that happening with Mr. Torres as well. 42 McCoy says, I didn't realize how much I miss Pat. Thanks, Kyle. No. 42 McCoy. Thank you, my friend. I raise my glass to you. You're an awesome guy. I appreciate you being in here. I don't realize how much I miss Pat until I start doing it to all of my pad people. I raise my glass. I'm so glad you're here as we start the AAA, as the AAA season has already started, as Major League Baseball is about to start, and as the rest of the minors are nearly close to kicking off. We raise our glass. J. David Reed says, are you broadcasting from a flip phone? No, it's a Razor. Yeah, it's a Razor. I guess no. I mean, yeah, it's a Razor. Oh, right. You do a show. That's right, Braden Brown. How are you, my friend? Braden, thank you for being here. It's almost like I am a hell of a resource that you could utilize, and no one is doing it. But that's fine, honestly. Like, when I say that stuff, I'm just joking around. Even the crazy stuff I say about Martha and Thomas and Alfred. Okay, here we go. For a half an hour now, I'm going to talk about the throuple situation between Thomas and Martha and Alfred. And you know what? Honestly, Alfred was probably giving it to Thomas, and Thomas was probably a lot of this and probably a lot of this, and are probably really enjoying each other, and that's fine. I'm all about love, is what I am. I am pro love, and even if that means a couple of dudes or a couple of ladies or a couple of dudes and a lady or a couple of ladies and a dude or a couple of people who don't know what they are exactly getting after some stuff, I'm about it. But I just mean it to really be entertaining. Like, I've got this weird thing about just wanting to entertain, just wanting people to be happy in a world where people are just kind of miserable all the time. So this is from my Motorola Razr. I'll switch to that brick phone in here in just a little bit. And look, I love you guys. So yeah, for sure. Luke Rackwall says, is the Flaherty injury something to be concerned about with long-term? The bursitis is, right? So I think the inflammation in the bursitis is really the key with Flaherty's injury. And that's where Flaherty's frustration was. He said that on Instagram. But the tear, the tear in the muscle or the tear in the tendon or whatever it is, keep in mind that that could be baseball's unspoken secret to a degree. There are a lot of guys who actually deal with something similar to that. If the tear gets worse and worse and worse and worse, then yeah, it's gonna be an issue. But I'm not more worried about his arm. Again, we got to get through the bursitis. We have to get through the inflammation. We need to pray that Mr. Flaherty gets his mechanics in line so that he doesn't have to deal with this anymore. But I would say that right now, it isn't any more of a concern to me than any other pitcher in baseball, because the act of pitching is deadly. It just is for everybody. Let's see. Underscore J Samp says, not sure if anyone has commented on your shirt yet, but it's fantastic. Yeah, this is my brother Scott shirts. Los Poros Hermanos. Love that Breaking Bad. Thank you for noticing. Hey, our good friend Heartfire27 says, just joining in, but can the Cards win the division with this rotation? It's all about the adjustments that the Cardinals make. It's all about how creative they're going to get. So, one of my main concerns about Mike Schilt, Mr. Heartfire, is that he just wasn't creative, right? He would plug in the same lineup. It was boring and sometimes ineffective and also staggered kind of inappropriately. He just never learned. And he would never get creative with the rotation. He would never get creative with the bullpen. It was just paint by numbers. And we're in an era in baseball where you can't be paint by the numbers anymore. You have to be proactive. You have to be aggressive. What we are seeing early on here with Jordan Hicks, with Ali Marmol, is an aggressive nature to how he's going to construct his batting average, or his batting lineup, his pitching staff, and maybe even the bullpen. We'll have to wait till we see that practically applied before we really have a thought. But that also goes with the front office. Now, I try to keep as even keel and as level-headed philosophy about the front office as I possibly can. And I don't mean this to trash on the front office at all, but it's up to them to adjust. Like, I don't have a look. The start of the Major League, it's a long season, right? 162 games. It's a long season. And the Cardinals are a type of team that has built depth. Now, whether we like that depth or not, I'm not going to say, but they've built depth, and it's important that they have depth because that's how they're going to succeed, is with depth. So it's not necessarily a matter of this rotation as it is the arms that they have and how willing they are to adapt on the fly and how quickly they are as a front office to adapt on the fly. We haven't seen much in the way of quick movement to adapt on the fly in maybe the last 5 years. I think they're going to need to adjust to that, whether that be calling Connor Thomas up or looking for the next J Happ or Wade LeBlanc or John Lester maybe a month before they do. I think that they can win the division. I think what they need more importantly than anything else is just consistency, right? They need Tyler O'Neill to find offensive consistency. They need Harrison Bader to find offensive consistency. Tommy Edman to find offensive consistency. Paul DeYoung, even Nolan Arenado. They just need to be consistent. And if they're consistent instead of surging and falling off, then they're going to be fine. They're going to be fine, which, of course, it might be dismissive of what the Brewers are capable of between their pitching staff and their lineup. But I just think they're going to be fine. But again, if they're not fine and the front office doesn't act, then that's on the front office. I think I like where they're poised this year. It's just a matter of pulling the right strings to get there. 42 McCoy says minor leaguers got effed like usual from the agreement. That's how it works. If that's what happens when you're not You're not organized in a labor situation. What laptop you use in Hardfire says, I am actually using the GIFing laptop. It's a better computer, so I use the GIFing laptop. It's been a while since I've been over on YouTube, so I'm sorry. I'm going to get back to YouTube before we get to Jay. Whoa, his shirt is still on. Sorry, Brendan. Brendan asked, it's the start of the minor league season. I'll take this thing off. Since Brendan asked for me to take my shirt off, I'll take my shirt off. And you know what, Brendan? You can have some of this. That's me thinking about you, Brendan. That's me thinking about you and the shrimps or whatever they are in Springfield, Illinois, the lucky horseshoes or whatever. So that's my shirt off, Brendan. You're welcome. Boom! So Dan Goki says, after Brendan Donovan ascended to the show, who is a shredder in waiting? I'm calling out Cardinals utility infield prospects, shredder after Punto. I like what you're doing there. I don't know if I'll adopt it because I'm a moron and I'll never forget it. I'll never remember anything after tonight. Let's see. I will say, who's the next utility prospect? How about Delvin Perez? That'll be the next shredder. Although not scrappy and white and left-handed swinging. I'll say it's Delvin Perez. No disrespect to Nick Dunn, who I love. Slap-hitting Nick Dunn, who swings left-handed and can put the ball on the left field gap like no other person in the organization. It's really uncanny, his contact tool, and we love him for it. But yeah, look, I don't think, unless you're counting Corey Spangenberg or Kramer Robertson, I don't think that you can count. I don't think the Cardinals have that guy ready to go just yet. Jake Bookberger, who's going to start the year at Peoria. He's a little older, undrafted free agent from 2020, that COVID year. He could be really interesting. Maybe it's him. He was really good at Palm Beach, but struggled at Peoria. Francisco Hernandez, he struggled at Peoria last year, but I love that kid's tools and I love his swing. He just didn't put it together. Maybe somebody like that. Let's see. Jay David says, Angel Rondon was your sleeper to rocket up ranks a couple years ago. Where is he in his development? It was good to see him be successful today. And also, other than a couple little mechanical issues here and there, pitched really well for Memphis today after Liberatore struggled pitching out of the bullpen. So where is he at? He's kind of a prospect for a bygone era. He doesn't really throw anything that spins a lot. He relies on deception more than anything. And, what we saw last year was a kid who just he honestly looked like he took a step back. He was leaving too much over the middle of the plate. His stuff wasn't moving like we saw out of Peoria or his time at Springfield in 2019. And also, he wasn't as deceptive or quick. His arm looked slow. His stuff looked slow. And today it didn't look that way. So where is he in his development? Hopefully he's kind of regained some of that luster that we saw before COVID destroyed the world. And we're waiting to see. He didn't get a whole lot of innings with the big club in spring training. And I guess the bottom line is that his breaking pitch looks sharp today. When he got his mechanics ironed out, specifically out of the stretch as opposed to the windup, he looked solid today. And here's the hoping that Mr. Angel Rondon, again, still one of my favorite prospects in the organization, can find his way up, back to the majors. He's on the 40-man, and I'd love to see him get a chance, and I'd love to see him earn that chance. But remember, with Rondon, the fact that he doesn't spin a fastball or spin a breaking pitch or spin a changeup at a super measurable level kind of works against him now at this point. Braden Brown says, should I expect to see Baez at Palm Beach most of the year? I wouldn't think most of the year, but I could see a situation in which they do. Remember, every organization is in kind of a weird spot when it comes to the teenage prospects, right? Because 3 years ago, they had short season affiliates that weren't just complex league. You had State College and you had Johnson City, and now they don't. So don't be surprised if a lot of organizations, not just the Cardinals, with some of their more toolsy yet raw prospects, wait a couple years to get, Baez, Fletcher, Hentz, Winbin Cho, Luis Pino to a full season club, because that's a huge ask. Even going to Palm Beach, low A now, is a huge ask. So don't be surprised if it takes a while before teams are doing that. Be patient with it. So, if Baez doesn't make it to Palm Beach, that's not like saying he had a disappointing year. It's just saying that the disappointment comes in living in an era when State College and Johnson City don't exist. Hey, what's up, Loch Ness? How are you? Love you. Okay, over on YouTube, from Boise, Idaho, Shep3 says, I love it. Cedar Rapids from Jay Kaner. Oh, I love it. Forrest Jenkins says Coar. Yeah, Jackson Coar, who is a prospect, former first-round draft pick for the not a prospect because he's probably exhausted his prospect eligibility for the Kansas City Royals. I was big on Jackson Kowar. Fastball changeup with the developing curveball. He got beat to shit a little bit last year, but look, that's not the kind of kid that you rule out just yet. Just like Brady Singer for the Royals. You got to give these guys time. Oh boy, Rick Hall says, I'm Hex indeed. Okay, so let me give you kind of an idea of where we're at. Over on YouTube, it says that I am Hex indeed. That was at 8:33. It is currently 9:06. So here's what I'm going to do, is I'm going to go, yes, sir, the changeup is back for Jordan. Woohoo! All right, I'm going to drink to that. Look, Jordan Hicks's changeup had a chance to be a very special pitch, not just to go along with that two-seam and that slider. So to know that Jordan's changeup is coming back, guys, I'm telling you, not in like it has to be more than like a 3% or 2% or 5%, but you're in for a treat if you're going to see more of Jordan Hicks' changeup. And again, give him some time to adjust to it in game. He hasn't been able to throw it in game in a long time. I'm excited about the Jordan Hicks thing. This is awesome. And not just because Mr. Hicks is in here. I feel the same way about Jordan Hicks that I feel about Dylan Carlson, right? These guys are guys who have had breakouts, underappreciated breakouts, who are on the cusp of stardom. If they can stay healthy, if they can keep reaching in, if they can keep getting the opportunity to expand what they're capable of. Again, with Carlson, we're talking about using a little bit of the running game, getting comfortable back in the leadoff spot. With Hicks, we're talking about using his entire arsenal, pitching out of a starting position. And the Cardinals are in better shape than I realize and fans realize. So to the changeup of Jordan Hicks, because I'm telling you, that pitch could be something different. Just like the curveball on Ryan Helsley, if given the chance to really throw that, it could be something different. Same with Helsley's changeup, too. And even that curveball that I remember Hicks throwing, I don't know if you could, but like to a chance to really be the player that they're capable of being as compared to the prospect that they were, we raise our glass. Also, imagine if there's anybody else in Cardinals Nation who would know that about the prospects, because the answer is there's no one. I'm the only one. And you know what? When I joke around on Twitter, I mean it as a joke, but this is me being cocky for 1 second. Look, you're not going to get the minor league coverage from anybody else that you're going to get from me. I'm going to give it to you. I'm going to give it to you better. I'm going to give it to you honest. And I promise I'm not going to let you down. And I'm going to admit when I'm wrong, because at the same time that you trust your judgment, you also have to admit that you're wrong. And I've been wrong, and you guys will bring it up. Tell me the times I've been wrong. I love it. I want to admit it, so give it to me. Jordan Hilton says, just joining in, anything notable in the minors last year with the big bags? No. So I would say that I think the big bags helped base runners just a little bit, but it wasn't noticeable. And to me, while the stats say that stealing was up, success was up, which is good for baseball, the fact that the size of the bags wasn't noticeable is the right move for baseball to go in. If you're having positive success with the motion on the diamond, while things like 2 square inches or 8 square inches, whatever it is, round square, isn't noticeable, then those are the victories that you have as baseball. So, yeah, look, it's noticeable, but it's not noticeable, which is awesome. Sorry I'm late, but thank you for not having a shirt on. You're welcome, Sarah Ann. Fuck your chicken sandwiches. Forrest Jenkins says, watching with Frank Coar, drinking beer. To the Coar family, we raise our glass. So going back to all those years ago, which that would have been 2019, right? No, 2019 was Thompson. 2018 was Nolan Gorman. Had Nolan Gorman not fallen to the Cardinals, Jackson Kowar was one of the guys that I really liked. So to the Kowar family, we raise our glass. They're awesome people too. I've actually talked to them. I'll say that because I don't have a reason to not talk to them. To the Kowars. Oh, Jeff Niehaus over here on YouTube. Jeff, I love you. You're awesome. Pat, hello from Ohio, West Virginia border tonight. We're drinking Lagunitas Waldo's one-hitter. I love it. Love you, Jeff Niehaus. I'm going to try to get through some of these YouTube comments because we are a half an hour behind those. Jeff Howard says, how many chicken McNuggets do you think you could put away in one sitting? Well, as long as that Szechuan, give me that Szechuan sauce from Rick and Morty. As long as that Szechuan sauce is there. I did 10 on Monday, and motherfucker, I could have put 100 of those motherfuckers down. DeYoung, Alex Foster says, Paul DeYoung hype train. Look, I think that there's a reasonable explanation, if you wanted to, let me rephrase that. If you want to get optimistic, you're talking about the beginning of the 2019 season with Paul DeJong. If you want to get realistic, you're talking about once Paul DeJong got back after getting hit in the hand and kind of got his shit together, then, or even like hit the last month and a half of the 2021 season, like that's realistic. Am I on the Paul DeJong hype train? I am on the Nolan Gorman, the Brendan Donovan hype train is what I am on. Which is more to say that I'm not necessarily on the Tommy Edman hype train, but what I am on the hype train of is the Cardinals getting their best hitters up to the major leagues as soon as possible without sacrificing defense, of course, because defense is the most important part of the Cardinals game, specifically with the pitching issues or the pitching makeup that they have. So am I on the hype train? Look, I love Paul DeJong. Again, you can go back and look. Paul DeJong was one of my favorite prospects. When people were saying he couldn't play short, I was saying, no, he's going to be able to play short. I believed it. I believed it then. I believe it now. I just think that we have to wait to see how it ends up working because Major League Baseball is a whole different beast. It's a whole different beast. Love you, Alex. Alex is all on board for turning this into turning chirps into a Marvel podcast. Jeff Hummert said about half an hour ago, I think my favorite role of his was from The Score or 25th Hour. Yeah, look, I'm a big Fight Club fan. Fight Club is my favorite movie. I would say Fight Club is probably the most influential movie in my life, that and V for Vendetta. But yeah, 25th Hour is up there. His monologue or his soliloquy when he's talking about going to prison and the boroughs in New York is something else, man. That's next level. Allison, hey, Allison, how are you? Allison Kriebel says, skipping school as a teacher to go to the game tomorrow. Anything I should be on the lookout for when opening day things? Yeah, me. My brother Scott spoiled me, and I'm going to be down there about 2 rows behind home plate wearing a patch shirt and a red jacket because I am a Hall of Famer. So tomorrow, if you're down at opening day, look out for me and my brother. But other than that, just like look out for people. If there's Twitter people, say hi to them. Twitter people are awesome. We're all good people. Just have some fun. Allison Kriebel said also planning a trip to watch a few Springfield games. All of my pad people plan a trip to Memphis or Springfield or Peoria specifically. If you can make it to Palm Beach, do it. But go visit the affiliates. It's a lot of fun. I promise you will not be let down. It's a great trip. So to Allison and to all our pad people that support minor league baseball and all of the minor league towns, we raise our glass. Okay, over on Twitter, Matt Thompson. Hey, what's up, Matt? Says, pool starts every home game. Heart you. I love Matt Thompson. To Matt Thompson, my family over at Prospects Live, I raised my Bud Light because I gotta lay off of that just a little bit. I raised my Bud Light. Look, Prospects Live. Subscribe to one of their Patreons. They have different levels. I do the $10 a month, but they're awesome. And Matt Thompson is awesome too. Matt, you'll have to tweet at me or do it here. Tell me what you think of MLB The Show, the new version of it, if you've been playing. I'd love to know. But to Matt Thompson, Matt, you've been an awesome guy to talk to all these years. Thank you for being friendly and kind to me. And to Prospects Live, subscribe, follow, do all that stuff. I love you too, bud. Jordan Hilton says, can we still talk to Zach Silver? Yeah, you're damn right. Look, I love Zach Silver. It's time to get to know the Orioles prospects because they have a lot of fun. We love that Jordan Westbrook. We love that Colton Cowser. We love that Adley Rushman. Oh, we love that Grayson Rodriguez. Actually, Grayson's one of my favorite prospects in all of baseball. So, yeah, talk to Zach, but talk to him about the prospects. Rhett Gay! Rhett, what's up, brother? How are you? Sup, Kyle? Keep on trucking, brother. Catch you on the flip side, the Richmond Heights Chinooks. I hope so, man. Rhett, promise me that we'll run into each other again at the Richmond Heights Chinooks. Over on YouTube, Kareem Hawk says, Jack Ralston is really setting into bullpen role towards the end of the year. You think he's used to do a reliever role this year? Yeah, and I hope the Cardinals are aggressive with him. The problem with Jack Ralston is while I was told for years and years that his curveball was a high spin curve, it isn't. It's just that because it comes over the top at 6'6" or 6'7", it's super, super deceptive. His best secondary pitch is actually his changeup to go with his fastball. So it's just a matter of working it all and seeing what works the best. But look, I wanted Jack Ralston and Wilfredo Pereira specifically to start it sorry, to start at Springfield, and that they're not. I'm a little disappointed. But look, with some of the advanced age minor league free agents that the Cardinals signed last year that they brought back for this year, don't be surprised if they're there quickly. Uh, you know, keep in mind that starting was kind of new for him last year because even in 2019, he was a bullpen piece after the Cardinals brought him up. Or sorry, Cardinals drafted him rather. Matt Wright says, "What do you expect from Jordan Walker at AA? MLB puts him at ETA of 2024, but if he continues to hit like last year, that's for sure got to be 2023, right?" Yeah. Look, my thought about Jordan Walker is the Cardinals would not have put him at AA if he wasn't ready for it. I know that for a fact. Look, the Cardinals, we know that from looking at Trajan Fletcher. We know what they did with Mason Wynn, putting him back at Peoria. We know with Joshua Baez, Win Bin Cho. We know it with Luis Pino. They're not going to push these guys to AA if they're not ready. There's going to be some struggle to start at AA. He's going to see more breaking pitches than he's ever seen. He's going to get frustrated with the lower half of the strike zone. I'm going to say it one more time because this is maybe the most vital part of the prospect section of Prospects After Dark that you need to take. But he's going to struggle with the lower half of the strike zone. He gets frustrated by it and it gets the better of him, and he needs to get better than that, and he will because he's a smart kid. But once he works past that, he's going to be amazing. So, yes, if he keeps hitting like this, look, by the end of the 2023 season, I can't imagine a situation in which he stays down there, I guess, unless everybody else at the major league level is hitting. And then, what can you do? But, yeah, look, he's going to come across more breaking pitches. He's going to come across better command than he's ever seen, specifically if other teams are smart in the lower half of the zone. And they're going to let him get frustrated by strikes that maybe are balls, and then maybe compromise himself later in at bats. And then, of course, the challenges that come with playing third base. Even though he's worked hard to become a better third baseman, and all the reports that I've heard is that he's taken some really solid steps to become a better defensive third baseman. It's still a hell of an ask for him to go to AA as a 19-year-old and perform there defensively. A lot of rocket shots down at third. Like we saw Malcolm Nunez struggle. We saw Aliris Montero struggle. We saw Nolan Gorman struggle last year while going between third and second. So like those are the challenges at AA. It's the first step to really, if there are 3 steps to the majors, it's the second step towards the majors. And we're going to learn a lot about the young man. Okay, over on speaking of Pat families, the Richardson family, the Hudson family, to Trisha Hudson, I raise my glass to you, Trisha. You're the best. Thank you so much. Hey, John Rabe, how are you, my friend? I just tuned in. Did we start shirtless or did this thing devolve? We evolved into shirtless, Kyle, only for the world to end, basically in front of our own eyes. John, look, you were one of my favorite Twitter followers. From the baseball perspective, I love what you do, man. To John Ray, we raise our glass. Hey, Cardinals fan 022 says the ovation for Pujols is going to be awesome. Yeah, but so let me tell you, my boy, I'm excited for the Pujols ovation. Again, ovation. I am 2 rows behind home plate or whatever the hell my brother Scott bought. We're in the green seats, whatever. I'm excited to be a part of that. But what I want to see is Nolan Arenado. I want to see the Cardinals blow Nolan Arenado's fucking mind. And remember, this is Yadier Molina's final year. Like I want Yadi's ovation to be louder than Pujols. I want Arenado's ovation to be louder than Pujols. I want to shake the fucking world with those ovations. Those 2 in particular, and also Waino. Like again, I harbor no resentment towards Pujols for leaving. He made the right choice, and I'm glad he left. The Cardinals made the right choice, and while it was messy for the Pujols-Cardinals relationship at the time, I'm glad they made that choice. Yeah, I've got a whole thing. You can go back and look. But I'm very excited to take part in it tomorrow, and I did not expect to be there. I'm not the sentimental type. So when I'm wearing my red jacket with the black trim that my brother Scott got me, in my Prospects After Dark hoodie tomorrow, look at that nipple. I will cheer like a dickhead for Pujols, but I cannot wait to cheer for Yadier Molina in his final season as a St. Louis Cardinal and Nolan Arenado in his first real home opener. And you better believe, like Ray Langford, I cannot wait to fucking cheer for Ray and also Tyler O'Neill. And also Dylan Carlson and also Jordan Hicks. Like my people will be there. And that's fucking awesome, man. How lucky am I? Over on YouTube, Blake Reichert says, hitting all 3 games here in Cincy with a couple weeks will be piss hammered. Oh, to Blake Reichert, my good friend. Blake, I wish that I could be there with you, piss hammered. Riley White, another Pad person, says, when did Pad get on YouTube? I don't know. Gift set this up or somebody else did. I can't figure it out. Sarah Ann says, they let anyone in the green seats these days. Sheesh. No, they let my brother in, and then I'll be kicked out. Just wait till you guys see me on top of one of those Clydesdales tomorrow. I'm going to be faster, 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 and then probably murdered by the security. Trisha says, I'll be in Peoria next week, all week. Oh, that's awesome, Trisha. So my plan is once we get past Easter to get to Peoria, that it's not that next week, but the week after. My plan is to be in Peoria the weekend before the beginning of May. That's my hope for sure. Over on YouTube, Stuart Schneider, about a half an hour ago, says, thanks for giving me something to listen to while I'm working on some wedding signs. To you, Stuart, to your wedding signs. I don't know what the hell that is. It sounds mortifying, but to marriage. Ugh. A half an hour ago on YouTube, VHS says, can you tell us about Gordon Graceffo? Sounds like he had one heck of an offseason. Yeah, but that only tells part of the story. So Gordon Graceffo is a 5th-round pick out of Villanova in 2021. Gordon Graceffo was throwing 97 miles an hour when he entered the organization last year. When he was at Villanova, he was 92 to 94, blah, 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 yada, yada, yada. The bottom line with Gordon Graceffo is that he is a great draft pick by the St. Louis Cardinals, led by Randy Flores and all of their scouts. They did an amazing job with Gordon Graceffo. He's mostly fastball changeup, although people keep talking about his breaking pitch, but fastball changeup with the developing slider cutter, and also a curveball that he can throw just a little bit, but I'm anxious to know more. Look, he's a bulldog on the mound who keeps the ball on the ground and keeps the ball in the ballpark. I think he's a Cardinals' best draft pick in 2021. I knew it. I knew it. I said it from the get-go. I love that pick. Again, he's everything the Cardinals could want. And if you're looking for a fast-moving mover in the organization, similar to Andre Palante, it could be him. I want him to stay as a starter. I think that's where his ultimate future is. One step at a time. It's all about need and demand at the time. So, yeah, again, Villanova, 23 years old, 22, 23 years old, entering Peoria, high A, will be at Springfield by the end of the year, throwing between 97 and 100, with a really, really devastating changeup, a slider that's coming along, and another breaking pitch that he's working on. And, again, if you look back to the draft a year ago, I've been harping on that kid. I love him. Kareem over on YouTube says the Chiefs pitching is going to be fun between the 2021 draft picks, Rodriguez, Bedell, et cetera, et cetera. Yeah, not just that, again, as long as Wilfredo Pereira might be the most underrated the most underrated pitching prospect in the organization. He has that Angel Rondon kind of quality about him. He needs to work on a third pitch in order to get righties out as a right-handed thrower a little bit better. But man, I love Wilfredo Pereira, even if he ends up being organizational depth. And and Manuel Solano is a name I didn't even go over. I love him. Nathaniel Heredia, who I know can throw some heat. I like him. Kareem also says Thomas Francisco, not Francisco Tomas. I'm sorry about that. That's my fault. Sorry. Believe it or not, when you're getting questions and going nonstop, it's hard to keep track. I'm going to go back over to Twitter, and hey, friggin' Card says, hey, Kyle, Sarah Ann, Gifts, Pat family, love you. Friggin' Cards, I love you. I love your family. I love Gifts. You guys are the best. Oh, we're going to need more booze. MJ Div says, cheers to you, Kyle. Do I get to still be excited about Malcolm Nunez? Yeah, look, we've said it since the beginning. I don't understand a thing about Malcolm Nunez. All that I know about Malcolm Nunez is that, as I look at the blue score, all that I know about Malcolm Nunez is that he has a hit tool that is probably major league capable. I don't understand how he plays third. I don't understand his athleticism. Nothing of it makes sense to me. But yeah, look, to you, MJ Div, get excited about Malcolm Nunez. Get excited about all of them. John Rave says, I only just realized that when Kyle gets revved up, I hear Humpty Dumpty. And I mean that as the highest compliment. And no, dude, I think of the song Humpty Dumpty. Arby's for everyone, says Whitewater attorney Adam Van Greckbad. We'll be down at the stadium this weekend, so hopefully we'll get to see you. I love what you do, brother. No, man, for real. John Rave is one of my favorites. I mean that. Like, I legitimately mean that. Every year on that. So we're gonna pull back the curtain for a second. Every year that's my lover C70, Daniel Shaptal, does that whole Twitter people thing. And normally I give like 5 people a 10. I give me and C70 a 0 or a 1, whatever the lowest score. And then I make up like 5 fake names that just basically bash C70 for doing that stupid fucking thing. And John's one of those guys who usually gets a 10. Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious is also one. And then gifts. And then basically the Bot B family. And then other than that, like I give myself the lowest score and I roll the fuck out of there because I think that's the dumbest thing that we do as a Twitter community. But John, you're one of those guys who gets a 10 because I think you do awesome stuff when you're involved. Over on YouTube, about a half an hour ago, Luke Rakewell says, feeling randomly sentimental about our old friends Tyler Lyons, Kevin Segrist, but when they were good, they were good. You're right. Over on YouTube, about a half an hour ago, Jeff Hommert says, all right, it's almost 9. When do we get squinting shirtless, Kyle? I'm growing impatient. See, I've been shirtless for like a half an hour, so that gives you some idea. On YouTube about a half an hour ago. I've been waiting all day for this. Yes, I took my shirt off. Jeff Hammer says, yes, Batman threesome talk. See, I'm glad that you guys are here for Batman threesome talk. I want to make it clear that obviously Alfred and Thomas had an affair. And I think Martha was involved, but clearly Alfred and Thomas were like in love. Now, I could envision a situation in which Alfred is maybe Bruce's dad, but I don't think that's the case. I think that ultimately Alfred was probably having a threesome with Alfred and Thomas and Martha. And what ended up happening was Martha got pregnant shortly after. Alfred was hopeful that the baby was his. Turned out to be Thomas's. And he always kind of felt that obligation to be the father figure for Bruce. That's what I think. Let's see. Blake Reichert, our good friend. Yes, yet Bruce remains a virgin. Bruce is banging them 2 at a time. Over on Twitter, Trisha Hudson says, cheers to you, my friend. You're the best. No, Trisha, you're the best. Thank you for being patient with me and awesome with me. Again, to all the minor leaguers, all the minor league families, to all the major leaguers, all the major league families that I've had the pleasure of conversing with on a regular or semi-regular or not so regular basis, I raise my glass to the Cardinals organization, the Cardinals front office, the Cardinals scouting department. I love everybody involved, including Cardinals Twitter, to all of you. I'm drunk, son. Cardinals fan 022 says, Kyle, you just gave me the chills. You're welcome. Now come. Rumsfeld 78 says, Peoria, keep me posted. Rumsfeld, Troy Poole, I promise. I'll keep you guys posted. T.K. Rendelman says, shoot, didn't mean to cuss. Fucking cuss all you want. Who cares? I got here just in time. Welcome. Peoria representa. Okay, so Jeff Hommert says, I bet the Waynes were a nice enough couple to let Alfred get in the middle spot of that threesome. Yeah, look, I think Alfred was probably the Eiffel Tower there. I bet he was using his fingers on Martha and jerking off Thomas. And I bet there was a lot of kissing and a lot of love and a lot of emotional sentiment that is necessary for a throuple to thrive in the 1970s or however the math adds up. But more importantly, I think that we had a loving, somewhat obviously open relationship, but also gay relationship between Thomas and Alfred. And I think it's important that we all adopt that and love that and live that. Not live that because I'm not about it, but if you're about it, then good for you. Kareem says, do you think Connor Lund will have success as a more hittable and a more hitter-friendly AA? Yeah, I do. I don't know. I'm not going to pretend to be cute or smart or any. Look, I'm gonna be cute. I'm super cute. I'm not going to even lie to you. I'm fucking cute as a motherfucker. But I'm not going to say that I don't know if Connor Lund's going to be anything more than Alex Fagalde. What I'll say is I think he has a 3-pitch mix that's better than Facalde's. I don't think his command's as good, but I think it's good command, and I think he's going to make up for it by just having better stuff than what Fagalde had. And yeah, so to your point, like Do I think he'll have more success? And I don't know if he'll have more success than he had in Peoria, but I think he's the kind of guy who's going to have success in Peoria. It's just what happens after Peoria for me. Luke Flush. To Luke, I'm going to raise this because this is really the only booze that I have left that isn't, real booze. And I need to slow it down. Luke, I love you, bud. Again, I'm going to try to get it caught up on YouTube here for just 1 second before we get back to I love GIFs. I love Rumsfeld. I love TK Rendelman. The hump. Do the hump to hump. Oh, do the hump to hump. Oh, that's Tori. Fuck me. Tori, yeah, look, I love David Freeze, and your dog is a horse, and I don't know what the fuck's going on in your house, but it's fucking weird. God damn it, now I'm reminiscing about David Freeze. I was at game 6, so fuck off. Rumsfeld says, Rumsfeld says, please give me some singing in the rain. I'm singing in the rain. Singing in the rain. What a glorious feeling. I'm happy in the rain. There you go, Rumsfeld. Get out there. Please give some singing in the rain. Is this effing Maury? You are not the father. Jesus, Tori. Holy cow. I get it. Take a deep breath. Gifts died of knee surgery. Where is the YouTube link? I don't know. Is my name for real TK Rendelman still? Yes. Hello, Sarah Ann. Hello, everyone. Tori says also hi. Also, him and Kyle are the same person. That's my conspiracy theory. That's funny because I've been giving Gifts a hand job the whole night. Victoria Dryden says, I know this is about the Cardinals in opener day, but the Blues are winning 4-1. Hey, Blues win 4-1. The St. Louis, no, they've been better since some of their older players haven't been playing. All right, so he's being so bad right now, Kyle. Yeah, your dog's a horse. That's why it's bad, because you have it inside and it's a horse. Our good friend from Viva Alberto's, Jason Hill, says, saying, hey, Kyle, we were talking about Dylan Carlson enough. That's it. Great show. Yeah, look, I maintain that we are still 1 year away from seeing the best of Dylan Carlson, which isn't to say that we aren't in store for good things come the 2022 season for Dylan Carlson. I just think that it won't be until 2023 that we see the fruits of the Dylan Carlson labor, because he's going to be amazing. He is amazing already. He's going to be amazing. Luke Flush over on YouTube says, who has a better DH position player, the MLB club or Memphis? If I'm being emotional, I think the best DH is Juan Yepes. I've said that 100 times. He's the only player in the Cardinals organization to have a matching 900-plus OPS against lefties and righties. He was just starting to come into his own when the Cardinals signed Pujols, but Pujols brings in tickets, as Mr. DeWitt so eloquently stated in a very missing the point of the question with Randy Carricker and Michelle Smallman on 101 today. But look, it's Juan Yepes. Now, I will say, everything's positive about Pujols, and there's nothing more devil magic, more historic than if Pujols comes back to St. Louis and is every bit as good as he was, as Larry Walker was when Larry Walker ended his career with the Cardinals. I could see that happening. I could also see Ali Marmol using him in the most effective type of way. But if it were me, I would have given Juan Yepes 600 at-bats without question, because that's how Daddy rolls, and I'm Daddy. Kyle, have you got any texts during the broadcast yet? Yes, I've gotten multiple texts during the broadcast from family members and other people who will go unnamed, Blake. And my phone number is 314-952-2137. If you want to text me, text me. Don't send your dick. I've got a small enough dick here. I don't need to see your dick. But if you want to show me your dick, show me. But don't. If I can have one serious moment, don't send me your dick. Look, dicks are sad. My dick is sad. Big dicks are sad. Jean Valjean, who is a delicious French man who does porn, he has a beautiful dick. His dick is sad and disgusting, because a dick is a sad and disgusting thing when you really think about it. But yes, I've gotten text to answer your question. Jeff Hummert says, the shirt is off. That was like 2 hours ago. Boy, I'm so far behind on YouTube. I'm so far behind on YouTube. Oh, God, what a fucking asshole I am. Victoria says, I know this is about the Cardinals. We already went through that. Tori says, he's being so bad right now, Kyle. It's because your dog's an asshole. Are you kidding me, Kyle? You are dead to me now. Anyone game 6. It's dead to me. Rumsfeld says, that was great, but no shower reverb. Yeah, you're right. See, the acoustics in my shower are second to none. Cardinals fan 022 says, off topic, should Blues trade Binner? Well, I don't know. I think that'd be awesome if Binner had a chance to go down to Springfield for a little bit, although as humbling as it might be, just to see if we can get his shit back together. Rumsfeld says, can you sit with Rooney all season? Horton sucks. Yeah, it's bad. And, truth be told, Danny Mac doesn't really have a good partner either if Ankiel isn't going to be there. Tori says, I almost got divorced already because my husband believes I should not spend $250 on 4 Freeze tickets. You shouldn't have. You're a terrible wife. Victoria says, Cardinals, they were shopping him before the deadline. All right, cool. So we can get to YouTube finally. JD Hammer, or Jeff Hammert says, and do you think anything I or you mentioned is easier to do as you gain experience than it was when you're younger? It'd be interesting to hear any insight you have as to that. I don't understand a word of what you're saying. What I'll say is that it's hard to be old and learn new things, as the whole Republican and Democratic Party will show you. Jeff Hammer says, I'll be there tomorrow too. Can't wait. I'm so excited, boy. I really killed this chat, huh? No, bring it, Jeff Hammer. You're fine. Our good friend Colin Dunn says, nah, we were all just mesmerized by Kyle's shirtless rendition of Here Comes the King. Raymond Herring says, damn, there goes my plans for texting you. Text me, ho. And Luke Rakewall, Heck says, the show is awesome, by the way. Thank you very much. And that's it. So we are finally an hour and a half later at the end of Prospects After Dark and the questions and all that fun stuff. To all of my family at Birds on the Black, look, I am never, ever, ever as humble as I am when I look back on my Birds on the Black community, between cards, and between cards, gifts, between STL Cup of Joe, between Zach Gifford, between Alex Crisafulli, the founders, the first class of Birds on the Black, as provided to you by my lover Cardinals gifts, and then the late bloomers, not only Chirps without Crisafulli and Tara Nichols, but also a shout out to Ben Cerruti, to Nick Childress, to Stu Stiles, who I love. It's weird, I haven't talked to or seen Stu, but every time other than once every 3 years, but every time I talk to or see Stu Style, I think, man, that's my brother from another mother. Same thing with Cardinals gifts and friggin' cards. Even Sarah Ann, is a sister. I view you guys as family. So to my Birds on the Black family, I raise the last of my Bud Light. I love you guys. Between the founding members, the founding presenter in Cardinals gifts, and then the people that he brought on, including Zach Gifford and Cup of Joe specifically, and then the people he's brought on since, and Cerruti and Nick Childress and Stu, and Alex Crisafulli was there, but then with Tara and Chirps, to the Birds on the Black family, I raise my glass. Again, as always, thank you so much for letting me be a part of it. You guys are fucking awesome. Sarah says, sorry if I missed anything. I had to feed my roommate. Is that a dog? It better be. Rumsfeld says, Kyle slapped me at a game, told me to keep his hot dog out of my mouth. I welcomed it. I love Stu. Yeah. Oakley just domestically abused me. Call 911. No one's calling 911. That's what you get for raising a horse in a home. And then, more importantly than anything, to the pad people, I want to say to the people who just come in and want to be a part of a community that Cardinals Gifts has helped cultivate. I'm so forever grateful for you. You make me want to do this. Thank you for supporting the gifts, supporting Birds on the Black. But also, I want to thank again all of the minor leaguers, all of the minor leaguer families, all of the major leaguers, all of the major leaguer families that have provided me with information, and also provided me with friendship over these last couple of years, including through some tumultuous times. To the Cardinals front office, too, we take it for granted. Again, there aren't a whole lot of people here as compared to when we first started the show. We take the Cardinals front office for granted, not just Mo and Gersh, etc. And of course, we would like for them to do a little bit more. We would like for them to get more aggressive as we deal with some strife throughout the season. But specifically to the scouts and the people who go and they do the groundwork. Remember, I feel like for as long as Randy Flores has been the scouting director, we have had zero complaints about what the Cardinals have done. And I think that's for good reason, whether it be through the draft or et cetera. And that's because Randy does Mr. Flores does a great job. His people do a great job, and I think that we all lose perspective of that. And I've been happy to be able to have my perspective. Uh, I've been happy to be able, like right now, I feel good saying that the Cardinals have a great mix of what they used to have, which was major league potential caliber pitching with with what they've never had, which is high upside hitting. This is the most exciting time to follow Cardinals prospects, and I'm glad that you're here to do it. So, to all of my birds on the black people, my pad people, I finish my glass. I love you. Thank you for being here on a Wednesday night as we start the 2022 Major League Baseball season. We continue the 2022 AAA season, and we wait for Friday when the minor league season kicks off in full. To the pad people, I raise my glass. We have a couple more questions. Friggin' Card says, cheers, love Stu, Oakley, blah, blah, blah. Bring back Dog Day at Bush. I'm about it, Tori. It's Horse Day. But Mo better count his days. I'm taking his job. If anybody's taking his job, it's Flo. And then I'm taking other people's job, and then they're taking Flo's job. Cardinals fan 022 says, cheers to the greatest opening day in the history of Cardinals. I'm with you. Over on YouTube, we have Damn It Kyle. Only read the second part of my question, not the actual question I asked. Sorry. That's why you didn't understand. Sorry, my bad. Jeff Hammert. Luke Heck says, are we planning on doing pad regularly? I'm going to try to do pad as often as I can. Remember, when you're gifting 3 games at a time, it's hard to still do pad. And the reason I want pad to continue to be free, the reason I want my content to continue to be free is because I think that's the easiest way to contain integrity, to continue on with the integrity, and to provide unbiased opinions. And that's what matters to me. I want to be able to provide people free stuff as the post goes behind a paywall, as the Cardinal Nation stays behind a paywall. Again, pay for that shit because they're going to get shit that I'm not going to be able to. But I want to be able to provide people who can't afford that with maybe just as good of minor league coverage as possible. Allison says, yes, man, great show. Have fun tomorrow and enjoy your great seats. I'll cheer from the 400s. Allison, my brother and I will be walking around, so please feel free if you see me to say hello. I'd love to meet you. I'd love to say hello. That goes to all the pad people. Look, if you see me, please say hello. Kellen says, enjoy those seats. Kyle, your red jacket will shine brighter. Thanks for an amazing pad. Heck says, will you start on OnlyFans and do live stream on there? I will not. But again, you're awesome. To all of my pad people, to all of my birds on the black people, for Cardinals gifts, for friggin' cards, for Stu Styles, Ben Cerruti, Tara Nichols, Alex Crisafulli, Zach Gifford, STL Cup of Joe, Nick Childress, for everybody at Birds on the Black, everybody at Prospects After Dark. If you're watching this, you are part of the Reese Resistance, for the Hicks family, for the Carlson family, for the Richardson Hudson family, for the Yepes family, and countless other families that you guys wouldn't believe. For everybody at Birds on the Black, everybody at Prospects After Dark, thank you for playing along at home. I love you guys. To a positive minor league season filled with sleepers such as whatever's going on in AA in Peoria, and all that other stuff. As always, family, happy 2022 season, and happy hunting.